Hello, all my Virgos. My voice got stuck. I couldn't seem to say Virgos. This is for all the Virgos for the month of February. And before I get into anything, I'm feeling like I'm supposed to be reminding you guys that, okay, well, what it is I know your astrology is in your sixth house. And it's funny because I want to say you're like moving from the sixth to the eighth house instead of to the seventh house on astrology. And wherever the sun is technically where the house that you're in at the moment, or the house that you were kind of walking through at the moment. So, what I'm wanting to say is the sun is in the sixth house, is about to move into the seventh house. But what I'm feeling is like in a form, you're skipping it and you're going straight to the eighth house, which is just weird. I mean, when I get into the astrology, I guess it'll make more sense. But I know you have a lot of energy going on in the fifth, sixth, and the seventh house. So maybe that might have something to do with it. Now, I pulled cards right off the bat, but I feel like I'm supposed to hit another deck. The first thing that's coming in for you is abundance. Is abundance. It is the Three of Cups. So this is in a form, it's also, no, not the Three of Cups. I don't even know how many cups are here. Yeah, I guess it is in this deck. It was the way it looked. It was throwing me off. And I write all over my cards. I'm sorry, but I do. So what I have on here is reminding you that there is a rebirth going on. This is water energy, more or less. It is a rebirth going on. It is communicative energy going on. Abundance of knowledge and information and understanding, but it can also bring you success and joy. It also is Scorpio and Pisces. So it's all of the water energies. But then the next thing that was coming out was the Princess of Discs. Because this is my Thoth deck. And it's a little bit of a hard deck for some people to understand. And I tend to write on it because a lot of times when I do my tarot and so forth, I start being given it not just the way the normal tarot is, but I start being given it from aspects from the Hebrew alphabet. So this is part of why I give myself these notes. So you're getting abundance with rebirth, communication, and a healing kind of coming in with some earth energy. But it's the Yi tree, which is also again about the rebirth. It's the transformation and the action of it, following your inner will, your purpose, your inner mortality, growing into a more higher spiritual level. And then what I have coming in after that is the Prince of Wands. So it's then coming in with like a chariot of fire. It's enthusiasm and drive. It's a wand energy. It's strength and honesty, it's integrity, it's divine, it's confidence. So I mean, it feels like you're coming into your power, starting to see things for a bigger level of truth and understanding. It also feels like there's some anger going on for some of you, or frustration because you're learning things that you may not necessarily have liked. Um, Learning, you're coming into a new level of being able to speak your authority. I'm also getting for some of you, you're wanting to push to receive. You're still wanting to go at your own pace, and what is your pace versus the pace you need to go is not necessarily balanced or even. But what I really feel is wanting to push to receive, like trying to over control the situation. And the more you're trying to over control it, ultimately, the more you're going to be pushed not in the way of where you're wanting to go yet. It's telling you still ground yourself. You're still learning pieces of securing that security is more or less what I feel like I'm getting with that. But what came out just then was the Ace of Cups. So you're coming into a new level of the Holy Grail. And what I was getting that I wanted to say when I started the reading is, and I guess it's why partially why I'm wanting to explain it is because no no Virgo is ever going to be quite the same. And what I mean is, there's over the last couple of years, the regular star has moved into the Virgo energy. And that is what I mean by this. It takes these fixed stars 72 years to move through a sign. And you still got at least 60 some years of Regulus just kind of sweeping through. And he's just barely getting started here. And Regulus was originally in Leo. It was considered the heart of the lion. But the heart of the lion no longer is in the lion. Now it is in Virgo. So where you guys are the troubleshooters, you guys are, detail oriented, the troubleshooter, all about, when I say diet, I don't just mean what you eat. I mean your mundane tasks, your activities, about the food you eat. But this is also the energy that you eat, the energy that you are part of. And the Virgo energy still has its Virgo energy, but now and over the next 60 years, it's going to be having an extra oomph of, does it match what my soul wants? Does it match the whole of the source energy of me, of my heart space? If it's not the heart of the lion, if it's not connecting with that inner heart, that inner divinity, then that whole troubleshooting, that whole organization or organized idea, the energy that you keep, the people that you keep, you're going to be a lot more like, I don't want you here. And I mean, I guess, are you understanding what I'm saying? Because this is coming into the Virgo energy itself is growing more into a spiritual energy, more into a heart space connected truth, not just anal protective, pick it apart, detail oriented. Uh, it's you still have all of that to see the truth and to get the precise clarity, but if it's not reaching the heart space and it's not coming from the heart and the soul of the situation, it's just not really as important anymore. And it's starting to show itself in your life as so. And with what you're going through in your own spiritual development, I mean, you're probably starting to see this. You're also observing relationship grief in a form. And when I say grief, it doesn't always mean what we think. Sometimes we grieve what we've lost, but that doesn't mean that we want it back either. Grief is when you've lost something, but it's also denial, it's also sorrow, it's sometimes shame. It's coming into a new clarity, a new understanding, a new spiritual soulfulness from the loss, from the gain of the growth that comes from it. And you are learning what relationships are important to you and which ones aren't, versus which ones gave you the idea it was something that it's not. And you're learning to mature and grow within this heart space. The next card that came out is this one. And for me, this is you're creating your reality. So this could be a very good thing for you about moving in to a new direction and creating the wheel of fortune for you. It really is all going to deal with is they're bringing the cards out as I'm saying it. Is really going to deal with if your mind is coming from ill waters or healthy water. So this means if you're looking at things from a three-dimensional reality, from some negativity, and if you're holding on to that, then it's going to cause more problems, and if not, then it's going to bring you victory. Like I said, it's funny how the cards are coming out just as I'm bringing you what my what I feel like I'm being given. So so this is a chance of being the fool. You're at a spot of being the fool and taking opportunities and trying new things. For me, the fool also, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that spirit, I say all the time because of some of the things I deal with in my shaman work are very negative and dealing with a lot of death and so to speak. And so my guides are constantly telling me, stay in cartoon land, stay in a happier place. But what is not just that, it's in a cartoon, so to speak. You can create anything you want. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? You can spin it whatever direction you want. And I'm not saying for you not to be connected to the reality of the world, but what I'm saying is the Fool card for me kind of speaks about that cartoon land. Depending on where you take your vibrational frequency, where you take your level of believing, of creativity and manifesting and creating, you can create anything, whether it's positive or negative. So they're giving you the Fool of going, well, here's your chance, here's your opportunity. What will you do with it? Because you have the Ace of Swords to cut through everything and do exactly what you want. So this is definitely a good thing, a good time, a good space for you to be in. But it really also it will also deal with your manifestation as to where you are taking it mentally, because what you mentally believe and think, even when you don't speak it into reality, that's already being in there, already being manifested, already being created. So this is about making sure you're viewing things from the right point of view. You're keeping that right point of view going as you start to do it. Trust in yourself. Trust and believe in yourself and your psychic abilities, and allow it to take you on the wild ride that you deserve, that will bring you everywhere you want. But they're reminding me at the same time, just stay in your heart space. Stay in your heart space. Stay open, open minded, stay open to receive, stay open to acceptance and forgiveness, and keep going with it. So, I mean, this looks pretty good. Now, when I get into the astrology, before I start looking at the astrology itself, you have Mercury, which is moving into Aquarius on the 14th. And on the 16th, you have the full moon taking place in Leo. On the 18th, the sun moves into Pisces. And on the 17th, going back to Capricorn, Venus and Mars are like traveling really close together, but Mars will go in front of Venus. So I'm telling you, right here around this full moon, whether a day or so before, a day or so after, you're going to have a major shift in energy. Not just you, but everybody. Kind of like from, let me think about it, and contemplation, and it's been in my mind, and maybe I'll do this, to actually taking action. And that's kind of going to be for everybody. It's starting to go into an aggressive forward movement, especially once Mars passes Venus on the 17th. But like I said, you personally have been in your sixth house, and you'll be in that sixth house for the most part up until the sun moves into Pisces on the 18th. Now, the sixth house is your ruling house. It is, but for you, it's in Aquarius. On a universal scale, it's your ruling house. For you directly, it takes place in Aquarius. All right. Now, this is everything that's part of what you are and what makes you what you are. It is, your daily task, your daily service, diet, health, hygiene, your volunteer tasks, at what I call the daily mundane tasks of the sixth house. The people, the places, and the things of energies that you consume consume you. So whatever you're putting your energy into and you're feeding your life in the mundane is actually what you become. And the important part about the mundane is there's nothing about the mundane that's mundane. We just overlook it because it's so repetitive. We don't realize how important it is to actually the manifestation and the creation of where we're going. Now, for you, that takes place in Aquarius. So you're a little bit more in this area of trial and error. Let me stand up because it's Aquarius energy. And for me, Aquarius is what I call like the fireworks. Like, there's going to be something massive that's going to happen, but you don't really know what. You don't know what color the fireworks are going to be. You don't know how big or the design, but something's going to happen. Aquariuses are the shock and awe. They are what's ready to take on City Hall. Okay, so this is your mundane task is very more bold, very more abrupt. Let me try something. Let me go after. Let's do this. Let's take a chance. But you're also connecting it to the heart space. And does that in your daily mundane, would you overlook the people, places, and things of energies that you are part of that actually consume you and help create your manifestation? Is these things supporting what you want to be, who you want to be, where you want to be? Because as it's moving into out of the sixth house and into the seventh house, it's going to start illuminating the relationships. Now, in the seventh house for you, this is Pisces energy. So this is also where in the seventh house, you're kind of a little bit more dreamy. And Pisces energy is creative and magical, but it's also sometimes a little bit nutty. And what I mean by that is it's illusion and delusion. So you could tell yourself a little bit more about what's going on in this relationship than what really is. You could create it to be something a little bit more than what it really is. And that's where we say, Pisces are easily manipulated, or they'll bring home, the people who will, like the stray dog, but a stray dog in a human form might be the one that robbed them blind. So this is saying in your mundane task, your mundane energy, would you overlook and you acknowledge that is part of the energy that you're creating and what you're trying to do with your life and manifest it to grow? When we start to get into these relationships, are we seeing the truth? Are we seeing the relationships for what they are? Are you acknowledging the ones that are real? Are they good for you? Do they support you, or are they unhealthy? And you're starting to see the truths here, because the sun, like I said, after the 18th, it's going to illuminate these relationships in this way. And I feel like that's partially why I'm feeling like you want to go straight from the sixth house to the eighth house, because you're starting to already get the forewarning, see the memo, see the truth of what these relationships are. And whether they're true tribe members, family tribe, whether it's, I see, honey, my cat, whether it is true people that are committed to you and the tribe and where you want to go and grow, or if it's like your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you have a relationship with any and everything you care about. Any and everything you care about. When you have no money, you know all about the relationship you have with the lack of money. When you have no roof over your head, you know all about the relationship with your home. So any and everything you care about, that you put your time, your effort, your energy in, your relationships into, you're going to start seeing really the truth here. And if it's really good for you or not, and then what and where we need to reset these rules, walls, and boundaries for it to become the most healthiest thing for you. Now, you have Jupiter here all year, which is really making it positive within the relationships. But Jupiter is abundance. Jupiter is luck. He's abundance and knowledge, and he's the magnet. But the key to understanding Jupiter's abundance and knowledge is Jupiter can only feed you what you feed him. So he can feed you all kinds of good luck, all kinds of abundance, and all kinds of great relationships. But you have to be honest with yourself and with the relationships that you're feeding yourself. You see what I'm saying? The manifestation can only be fed, the abundance and the magnet can only be fed by the law of attraction to what Jupiter will bring you. So if you're in denial here, he has no choice but to feed you lessons. And this is why it's important that you're paying attention to if it really connects with the heart space. Okay. Now, when we go back to the fifth house is where Mercury just went retrograde. The fifth house is our creative expression. And for you, this is in Capricorn. It's your creative expression, but it's also, your hopes, your dreams. No, it's your hobbies, your personal interests. It's your fun zone. So, in a form, Mercury's been in retrograde in your fun zone, and where, relationships begin, and where sexuality begins, and where joy begins, and where the interest of what makes you tick and enjoy life begins. Mercury has been here in retrograde, then in shadow, and now about to move out. But it's not been there by itself. It's been there with Vista. It's been there with Pluto. It's been there with Mercury, with Venus and with Mars. So it's been a loaded house. So your fifth house has been completely nutty. It's been telling you all about your fun zone and if you're having any fun or not. And the key here is, are you getting to experience and be a part of what you want to be a part of? Are you getting time, like for actors, not actors, for like an artist, a musician? Musicians need to play their music. Artists need to create and do their art. Poets need time to be able to express themselves and write. What is it that makes you tick? Are you having time to connect with that part of your soul, that part of your inner child, that part of your fun? If you're not having time to connect to that fun, then the creativity isn't coming through as strong. And if you're not having time to, well, why? What's standing in the way of you having time to? Is it the outer world's relationships? Are these relationships ones that support you figuring out who you are, the best part of you, and exploring your authenticity or not? Are they keeping you too busy, preoccupied by doing things for them? Or is there a good, healthy give and take? So a part of all of this is spinning into, are you having time to enjoy you, to enjoy the life that you are living? Are you enjoying it? And if not, why? And it's not that we're pointing fingers outwardly, but we're pointing fingers at what we have been allowing to keep us from getting to where we want to get within our own soul, our own time, and our own effort. So we have to learn to go, no, we're not going to allow you to take that time and space and energy away from me anymore, because I need some of that for me. And that is where these rules, laws, and boundaries are coming up within these relationships, and acknowledging if they're really healthy relationships so that we can grow even healthier ones. It is all coming down to your creativity and your judgment within making sure that you're getting it. Is there anything else? Anything else that I'm picking up from them or anything? I'm being directed to look over into the Scorpio energy. And for you, this is your third house. The South Node is here in your communication zone. The South Node is everything that you're good at, but it's not good for you anymore. So there's a form that you are going to be learning over the next year about your personal communication and how you've communicated, maybe not forthcomingly, maybe not honestly, with yourself and the world around you, or where you've chosen not to communicate at all. You know what I'm saying? There's a piece of this lesson that's going to be speaking again to that heart space about what is true and how to step into a new you through communication and strengthening who you are through that communication. So there's a part of your communication that you have a comfort zone in that doesn't really work. And you're going to be acknowledging that over the next year of where that comfort zone is actually just that, a comfort zone, but it's not helping you to grow. So you're going to be seeing that over the next year because it's what they were directing me to. But all of this for you really comes down to the heart space and what you believe and where your manifestation is according to your perception of view, because that's going to be your perception of your manifestation, your creation, your identification even. So this has a lot to do with, you know, bringing it from the heart space, but bringing it into using it in the most positive ways. Just don't get in your own head with some negative shit. If you're talking some shit to yourself, you just need to be like, nah, we need to quit that, void, cancel, delete, and start fresh. But other than that, I feel really good for you guys. Love you. I will see you next month with the next months of homework family readings, and I will probably be out with Breaking the Cage sometime this week. Bye. Yeah.